Tonight on Philly Sports Spotlight, it's Charles in Charge as we take a look at new Eagles head coach Chip Kelly. And kudos to a local kid who has reached his ultimate pitch in life. And as National Signing Day fast approaches, we take a look at some of the top area high school football talent in southeastern PA, southern Jersey, and Delaware. You're looking at a video of new Eagles head coach Chip Kelly and team owner Jeffrey Lurie signing Kelly's new 5-year contract worth an estimated $32.5 million. Hello there and welcome to Philly Sports Spotlight. I'm Phil Anderson. Yes, Chip Kelly did become the 21st head coach in Eagles history with that contract signing, and it's a move that has ignited many a mixed reaction. Nonetheless, he is here for the immediate future and is more than ready for the challenge.
Obviously, there's not many opportunities to coach in the National Football League. There's 32 opportunities, and it's a special situation. But I think, you know, in meeting with these three guys, it was very evident to me. It's an iconic franchise with a passionate owner and great people in this company. And that's the thing that struck me. And I probably took a long time with this decision, and probably a lot longer than some other people probably wanted me to take. But I think for me, I've always coached and I've always been involved in this game because of the people. And it really had nothing to do. I knew what this place was all about, and it's where I wanted to be. But I love my players, and we had a great culture at Oregon. Have an unbelievable coaching staff that has been together since I took over as a head coach, and it was really knowns versus unknowns. And for me, it was just very, very difficult to say goodbye to a bunch of men that I truly love and respect. And the way our players handled it when I talked to them the other day was nothing short of amazing to me. I probably cried more than they did. But they just wanted the best for me, just what I wanted for them. But I knew this was a place for me. It was just trying to figure out a way to do it the right way. And I wanted to be the first to tell my players. And I think a lot of guys want to know how this came out of left field. But again, I want to tell you how impressed I was with both Howie and Jeffrey that allowed me to do this in a manner where my players were going to find out from me firsthand, and it wasn't going to be something that they saw on a Twitter account or saw on a local TV station. That part's extremely important to me. The game of football to me is always about relationships, and the game of football to me is about people, and you win because you have great people. I had great people at Oregon, and it took a real special opportunity for me to leave them, and I'm excited about it.
Yes, he is. It's certainly a breath of fresh air compared to what we had become accustomed to under former head coach Andy Reid. Now joining us on the set of Philly Sports Spotlight, former Eagles tight end Ken Dunek and Jersey Man magazine publisher Ken Dunek. And he certainly, Chip, hit his first press conference in front of the Philadelphia media out of the park.
Well, here's my first impression. He gets it. We finally have a coach that gets it. You know, he showed personality. He was engaging. He was funny. He actually answered the questions, which is a little different than it has been in recent years. But, you know, you mentioned that he's a breath of fresh air, and he is. And he's off to a very good start with the media and fans here in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, he changed people right in that press conference. Of course, the one thing Kelly also made pretty clear was that he fully understands the Philadelphia fan base as well.
I know about the fan base in Philadelphia, and that excites me. When I was at the University of New Hampshire, I had from South Jersey to Harrisburg, and I spent every December, January, and May in this area. I know that the second most important bowl besides the Super Bowl, which is my goal, is the Wing Bowl. I am not going to participate, but I understand what this city's all about, and I'm just glad that I got an opportunity to be here. And one person that I really want to thank in terms of advice in this whole thing was Andy Reid. And the fact that Andy reached out to me and told me about his experience here, just told me what this organization's all about. And there's not a classier guy. When Andy texted me yesterday when I accepted the job, I told him I had really, really, really big shoes to fill. And in typical Andy fashion, he said, just be yourself and you'll be fine. So I want to publicly just thank Andy because, that really right there spoke to me about what this organization is all about. So I'm excited to be an Eagle and excited to get started, and we're ready to go.
So Chip also giving props to Big Red, the former Eagles head coach. Now, Kelly not only in tune with the fans, but also Eagles history and the alumni base, as alumni, Ken Dunek, found out this weekend. Actually, you got a chance to hang out with Chip Kelly, didn't you?
Well, I met him at the Soul tryout, and it was great. You know, again, it's an example that he gets it. The first night into town, he had a beer with the Eagles, some of the Eagles alumni, Vince Papale, Mike Mamula, and others, and I don't ever remember that happening under the previous regime. You know, he's trying to make the right connections here initially, and it seems to be working.
Well, I think he said it all when he was talking about coming through here as a recruiter with the University of New Hampshire. He spent time in this area. You know, he had to spend overnights here because he was in hotel rooms going from here to Harrisburg and recruiting high school football players. Now, the biggest concern about the hiring of Kelly by many fans that I've talked to is whether or not the type of offense he ran out at Oregon could also translate to the pros. Well, here was his response to that question at the press conference.
Football's football, and this is football at its highest level. But it's still a game. It's played 11 on 11. It's about putting together a great coaching staff, having a great organization behind you, and having great players. And, you know, and ultimately, whether it's in high school football, college football, professional football, it's a personnel-driven operation. And I know, in the experience I've had, is trying to figure out is any way we can to put our players in the best situation when they have an opportunity to be successful. And that's what this game comes down to. Are there a lot more cameras around? Yep. You know, but that's what this deal's all about. But it's still the game of football. It's X's and O's, and I understand that aspect of it.
Of course, based on the success that the Niners, Redskins, Seahawks, and Panthers have had with their offensive systems this season, Kelly's arrival probably could not have come at a more perfect time. And why is that, Ken?
Well, you know, he is an offensive innovator, and with the advent of certain characteristics of pro football today, like the pistol formation, the spread option, the running quarterbacks like RG3 and Kaepernick, you know, it might be the right time for him bringing this type of scheme to the Eagles.
Now, you just mentioned two names I was going to talk about. He does not have a Kaepernick. He does not have a Russell Wilson or an RG3 or even a Cam Newton. But he does have Nick Foles.
He does have Nick Foles. Now, I've heard from some scouts that they're not sure that Nick Foles is the right fit for this type of offense. So, you know, we've also talked about Michael Vick. They owe him a great deal of money. I don't think Vick will be on the roster if they don't restructure that deal. They may look to free agency. They may look to the draft or someone that might be a better fit for Chip Kelly's style of offense.
Well, let's hear what Chip had to say about Nick Foles, shall we? Because he actually had the chance to coach against him while at Oregon. Listen to this.
Our offense is always going to be tailored to who's playing. You know, in terms of Nick, I know him because we played against him. I'm a huge fan of his. He's tough. You know, and it's an attribute that I think a lot of people don't understand of how hard it is and what toughness means to the quarterback spot. And you know, to just be able to stand in the pocket and throw the football. You know, we hit him as many times as we could hit him, and he just kept getting up, making plays. He completed a 13-yard pass left-handed against us once, and I remember just staying on the sideline shaking my head going, I don't know what we have to do to stop him, but he's a competitor. He's accurate. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited for everybody in this program. I want to take a look at all of our personnel and try to make an opinion of what I think of them after seeing them on tape, but I don't have any preconceived notions because I don't think you know, that's the way to go about it. So I'm in the process of studying everybody that we got on the team right now and looking at the film and making an evaluation of what direction we're going to head here. So.
Now, when the news was announced about the hiring of Chip Kelly, I turned to my Facebook piece for the response, and needless to say, reaction very mixed. Let's take a look at some of the responses I got. Robert said, I'm not an Eagles fan, but I thought it was great. Ken, no NFL experience as a player or a coach? Marlene, she just straight up hates it. We have John, I'm taking a wait-and-see approach to the Eagles hiring of Chip Kelly. Would have preferred someone from the NFL, but I'm willing to give Chip a chance. And Marcus, well, we've heard many Eagle fans do that, right? Boo. And Shahid said would have preferred Lovie Smith or Gus Bradley. Like I said, very mixed reaction among the fan base. But check out what they're saying in football circles. Some very interesting responses from some people around the league and people who are not actually affiliated directly with the National Football League, as we check out some of those quotes. Here's a guy, John Gruden, that was actually considered. Many Eagle fans wanted him to be the next Eagles coach. He says that Chip, this guy's a stud. This guy's a stand-up guy. He's the first guy to take credit when things go wrong, and I really believe he's going to be a dominant coach for a long time. Brian Baldinger, NFL analyst and former Eagles lineman. Chip is an innovator. He's a disciplinarian, very, very tough and close to the vest. He can be tough guy to get to know. He's got a visor and his coaching face on 24/7. But there's a lot of things about Chip I think could flat out work in the National Football League. And how about this guy, Bill Belichick? I was interested in hearing how he did it, talking about Kelly's no-huddle offense. I would say he expanded it to a very different level, and it was very interesting to understand what he was doing. Certainly, I've learned a lot from talking to Chip about his experience with it and how he does it and his procedure and all that. And his one quote that I felt was necessary to go in, our former college head coach, Bill Bowes, Chip not only played for Bill, but also coached alongside him at one point. He's bright enough to know that you have to match your offense with the talent you have. Not all coaches have that, the ability to make changes or adaptations, and the foresight to analyze and evaluate the personnel you have and create the best offense for your personnel. Again, former UNH head coach Bill Bowes. Now, you've heard some of those comments. Ken, what are your thoughts after hearing some of those?
Well, my initial reaction is this. If Bill Belichick, who may be the #1 innovator in the National Football League, calls you an innovator, then I think you might be onto something. You know, a lot of high people in the NFL have taken notice of Chip Kelly. They're very impressed with what they see, and we'll see if he can live up to the hype.
I thought it was kind of cool, though, that Andy Reid, you know, he's leaving this job. He spent 14 years here. Didn't say goodbye to the fans, but congratulated the new coach coming in. I guess that says something, because he's going to actually get a chance to play against Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, next year when the Chiefs come to town.
Well, you know, I don't go to many games, but I think I'll be showing up at the link for that.
We'll be marking that on the calendar,
Absolutely.
right? Once again, Ken Dunek, former Eagles tight end, also the executive publisher. I want to use the word executive because that's how he's dressed today with his double-breasted jacket on. The executive publisher of Jersey Man magazine. You guys are already starting to work on the next issue this week. I heard you out in the lobby.
Yeah, we got a great February issue coming up, a Jersey Man Travel Edition. And if you like sports, politics, leisure, take a look at Jersey Man magazine.
All right, Ken Dunek, thank you once again. Hey, still to come on Philly Sports Spotlight, the story of a local soccer talent who has kicked his way to the big time. Stay tuned.